fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at 3 new Ghostbuster action figures from Hasbro. Now, I'll be honest, I do not know what this line is called. I guess it's Fright features, because that's what the last line was called. Unsurprisingly, these boxes don't say Frozen Empire anywhere on them, even though they are, based on characters from the upcoming movie Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. So I just guess we're going with Fright features. It really feels like Hasbro is doing the bare minimum with these figures this year. These two I found at Target. This one I got on Amazon. There is a 4th figure in the assortment, which is Trevor, played by Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things. But that figure looks to be exactly the same as the one from the previous year's assortment, or the previous movie's assortment. But he does come with a new ghosty thing, which is some kind of ecto stretch tech. I don't know what that means. I hope they're not sticky and gross. We'll see. They might just be Stretch Armstrong type things. But if you remember from the last movie, there was a character called Lucky, which, I don't know, in the trailer, it almost looks like she's not going to make it or something. Apparently, she's not getting a new figure, but it seems like they just kind of took the base body for the slightly older female and then gave us Callie and Phoebe here. So this is Callie Spengler, which is Egon's daughter, and then Phoebe Spengler, which is Egon's granddaughter. Now you can tell that she is aged up a little bit. Obviously some time has passed from the previous movie, so they kind of just gave her the generic female body. So it kind of just looks like they took the Lucky figure from the first assortment from Afterlife, popped on some new heads. And then over here we have Gary Gruberson, finally. Paul Rudd's character is getting a figure, which I'm excited about, because he was not in the assortment from the first movie. We'll get into the likeness and everything. It doesn't look so much like him, but it's not terrible. Honestly, the artwork on the packaging looks a lot like him, and then the figure, not so much, but we'll get there. So again, this is just the usual male body. They gave it to us for the 4 Ghostbusters. Trevor from the first assortment had this same body, so it just really feels like they're phoning this in as much as possible. So we have 4 figures in this first assortment. They're re-releasing what I believe to be the exact same Ecto-1 from the Afterlife line, or I should say the Fright features that they did to coincide with the release of Afterlife. There's really not much going on, honestly. It feels like they didn't even remember they had the rights to this property, and then when the trailer came out, they're like, oh, we should do something, and just popped new heads on these existing bodies and popped them out there. So taking a look at the packaging, it's not terrible. You have the character here, obviously pursuing a ghost. We have the name of the character, kind of have this plastic bubble. It's not really on card. It's kind of like in a box, but it still has a flap up here for the peg. Then you get a little picture of the figure here on this side. This is demonstrating the Ecto Stretch Tech, which I still don't know what that means. And then over here, again, it's just showing, I guess you can stretch it over the character, but if it's slimy and goopy, I'm not doing that. I don't like sticky things on my toys. But apparently this is Possessor, Class 8, Full Possessor, Type 8. Oh, I'm sorry, that's just in different languages. So it's just a Class 8 Possessor. So I don't know, we'll see. And then over here, Phoebe comes with this blue skeleton ghost, which is Bonesy, which is a great name. He's a Class 3 distinct human form. So there we go. And then Gary here comes with Pukey, a Class 5 full roaming vapor. I do like the technical jargon for the ghosts and things when they're classifying them. So that's it for the packaging. I'm going to go ahead and get these 3 out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So I just wanted to show this off real quickly. On the inside of the box, the figure is in a bubble, which is attached to kind of like a backing card, and then all slid into the box. And the backing card is this, which does have this ice motif, so they are acknowledging Frozen Empire to some degree. Kind of a cool little backdrop if you wanted to kind of put this in the back of a bookshelf and then pose your figures in front of it. It's not too bad. But it's just kind of funny because they're not really advertising Frozen Empire like on the front of the packaging, so that's your only clue that these characters are from a movie. Real quick, we'll jump into these little ghosty things. So luckily they're not super sticky. What they kind of remind me of is those things that you used to like kind of throw at the wall and then they would kind of like crawl down. It's one of those things that's like, it's not that gross right now, but if you drop this on the carpet, it's going to come up all covered in hair and fuzz, and then you'll never ever get it off. They do stretch. I'm not going to put them over top of the figures, but you can see here that, you know, there's kind of a little hollow area so that you can put it over top. I don't know. These are not the best to me. I'd rather just have hard plastic little ghosts for them to bust or something like that. These just don't really do anything for me, but here is Bonesy, the little skeleton guy. I mean, they're nicely detailed, and I do kind of like the look of them. I honestly just wish it wasn't this weird rubbery plastic. I mean, I don't know, maybe the target demographic will enjoy these, but for me personally, not really anything to get too excited about. This is Pukey, which comes with Gary, aka Paul Rudd, and he's just got this weird, large amount of puke that's coming out of his mouth. And then we have the Possessor, which just kind of looks like a large bag of trash, if I'm being honest, or maybe an onion or something. But he can't really stand up because his feet are just so loose and tiny and have no structure to them whatsoever. So, like I said, these, for me, not really doing anything for me as a collector. Like I said, maybe the target demographic will enjoy these, but I don't know. For me, kind of a swing and a miss. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the figures. Again, they are pretty much just using molds we've already had. I do kind of have to have them lean forward ever so slightly just because they get a little back heavy with the proton packs. But for the most part, they look good. I mean, again, if you enjoyed the line that they did around the same time as Afterlife, the Fright Features line, these are just more of those exact same figures. So we have Gary here. Again, doesn't really look like Paul Rudd all too much. But if you think about it in kind of a cartoon stylized way, it's not terrible. They are all 5 points of articulation, so the heads can rotate side to side, the arms swing, and then the legs kick forward. They do have holes here in the bottom of their feet, and then they have the proton packs, which have no detailing, well, I should say no paint applications whatsoever. They do have some nice molded detail done completely in black, and they just peg into the back via these kind of, you know, not quite full circle pegs here. They just peg into the back. I'm assuming that's so you can't peg them in upside down. But I mean, who cares? It's your toy. If you want to peg it in upside down, go for it. The wands can attach, so they have these slits here, and they pop on like this. Now, obviously, I would want them to peg in like this, which isn't impossible, but the plastic really doesn't want to do that. So it just kind of bends the handle of the wand, so not really worth it because it looks kind of ridiculous. But you can go ahead and slide this into their hands pretty easily. I like to start with the thinner part of the cord and then just slide it down. And there you go. They are ready to bust some ghosts. Now, again, they are almost identical to the Fright figures. What do we call the Fright Force? Whatever. Fright Features, that's what it is. They're the same bodies, the same proton packs. It's literally just new heads. That's the only thing that's different. They're just popping on new heads to get new characters. But if you just want the new characters, you know, nothing wrong with that. It's just if you bought the first Fright feature figures from Afterlife, you know exactly what to expect. So next up, we have the newer version of Phoebe. She's a little bit older than the first movie. Got a haircut there, got glasses, which is, I have to say, the faces are nicely painted and detailed. I think they did a good job there. It says Spengler. Does his say Gruberson? Yeah, it does. So again, same exact proton pack. Just going to go ahead, slide this into her hand here. And there we go. Same 5 points of articulation. I will say her neck is very giraffe-like. She's got a really, really tall neck. And the way these work is that the head and the neck is one solid piece, so the swivel is actually down there, kind of the midsection. That's how the heads swivel. But very nicely detailed. Paint applications look good. I mean, you have the Ghostbuster patch there on the side. I mean, they do have nice paint applications. They're simplistic figures. But, you know, for 5 POA, they're not terrible. And I should say that these were $10 a piece, so they're not breaking the bank. And then next up we have Callie, Egon's daughter. Go ahead and give her the wand here. And again, head sculpt I think looks good. Nice paint applications for the eyes. Head can swivel. Otherwise, it's the same figure. So, again, if you bought the original figures, you know exactly what to expect. If you enjoyed that line and you just want a couple more characters to add to that collection, you know, that's what this is. That's what these are. There's really no surprises whatsoever. Like I said, I really feel like Hasbro's phoning it in. I mean, I guess I understand to some degree, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But, I mean, is Ecto-1 going to be different in any way from the first movie? Well, from Afterlife, I assume they're doing a new trilogy, so that's why I keep referring to it as the first movie. But the previous movie, I guess I should say. Because it really feels like they're just going to re-release the toy that they put out from, you know, the previous movie. It's just kind of disappointing. Again, I get it. Some things are constant. You know, Ecto-1's always there. But at least with the last movie, it had that kind of like new door where they had the seat would swivel out. And so it had kind of a new feature, and I appreciated that. But then again, maybe Ecto-1 is going to be exactly the same as the previous movie, so there's no reason for them to change it. I don't know. Obviously, I won't know until I see the movie. But it just, like I said, it just feels uninspired. It just feels lazy. I mean, I'm happy to get these characters because I wanted them when Afterlife came out, so I was happy to get them here. I'm probably going to pass on Trevor because as far as I can tell, that figure's exactly the same, and these things are not any kind of incentive for me to rebuy him. Like I said, no Lucky, no Podcast. I don't know what happens to those characters. They did the original Ghostbusters last time. I don't think they would bother doing older versions of them. They could. They did in the Plasma series. I don't know if the Plasma series is coming back. I feel like we would have heard something by now if these are already on shelves and they were going to do Plasma series figures. You would think that would have been announced because I believe that movie comes out in March or April, so it's not super far off. So I would think that if they were going to do Plasma series figures for this new movie, they would have said something by now, which makes me think they are not. So this might be it. This one wave of 4 figures and a reissued Ecto-1, that might be it for Frozen Empire, and that's kind of a shame. Ghostbusters, I feel like in general, just deserves more attention and more love than that. I enjoyed the lineup from the first time when Afterlife was out, and we got like a new Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and we got a new Slimer, and then we got 2 sets of 4 figures, and then we got the Ecto-1. Like, it was all kind of new and exciting. Maybe we could get like a new Firehouse playset. I seriously doubt that's going to happen, but if they wanted to introduce something new, the Firehouse is coming back in this new movie, which it was not there in the previous movie, so I totally get why we didn't get a Firehouse playset when Afterlife came out, but it would be something they could do now, but I seriously doubt they're going to do that. At the very least, they could re-release the Kenner one from back in the day. I know they've been doing a lot of Kenner reissues, and they're also re-releasing the Kenner Fright feature figures. I saw those go up for pre-order recently. So I don't know. Maybe they'll just reissue some older Kenner stuff. That could be fun. Some vehicles or playsets from that line. I would love to get something new for this line, but it just doesn't seem like they're trying that hard. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong, but I'm kind of getting the feeling that it's going to be one wave of 4 figures and a reissue of the Afterlife Ecto-1, which is kind of a bummer. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think I'm wrong? Have there been leaks? Do you know something I don't know? Please tell me. I'd love to find out. But otherwise, these figures are fine. They're very much the same as the last ones they did. So if you just want to get, like, at least, like, there was a Phoebe last time. This is obviously an older Phoebe, so it's different enough. But these 2 characters were not represented at all last time, so I was happy to add them to the collection. And they're good basic figures. I mean, for $10, you know, they look good. Paint applications are pretty good. Head sculpts are pretty good. I do like the cartoony style to them. The Proton Pack is all right. You know, I would like a little bit of paint on there, but I get it. It's easier just to mold them out of one solid color plastic. Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. I think these are fine. I'm just kind of bummed that it seems like this is all they're going to be, and I don't really care for the rubber ghosts that were included. So again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.